He had no shoes, no phone, and no clue what Instagram was. But he had something most people spend their whole lives chasing: joy. See, today, many people define success as big houses, expensive vacations, or luxury cars. And these can feel good. However, somewhere along the way, we just stopped there. And we started acting like that's the only kind of wealth that matters. What about the person that wakes up excited every day because they love what they do? Or the one that has time for their family, their health, and their peace? Or the one that's rich in kindness, curiosity, or creativity? He had a different kind of wealth, the kind that doesn't show up on paychecks, but truly matters. But this idea of success didn't sit right with me. I wanted to understand it for myself. My name is Neil Lutra. I've grown up between two highly contrasting cultures and have explored many others at just the age of 14. As a fifth grader, I built the courage to travel alone across the world, eventually leading me to take the bold decision to study in a boarding school miles away from home. During this, it sparked a passion for not only seeing the world, but also exploring it, the different cultures, and how different people define success. Growing up multicultural, I've experienced and witnessed a lot, making me question what really matters. Living between these different worlds, I started noticing something. It was like getting a glimpse of how people define their whole lives. In one place, I'd see people focused on having a certain kind of car, while in another, I'd see people find genuine happiness in their everyday lives. And the more I explored, the more I started to wonder, why were people always chasing more? Whether it was more things, more likes, or honestly just more proof that they mattered. It made me realize how money, which started as a tool for our survival, has now become a symbol for our self-worth. And this question followed me everywhere until a few years ago. I visited a small rural village with my family. We stayed with locals who by today's standards had very little. One room, simple meals, and no AC. And at first, I started noticing everything they didn't have, but slowly I started seeing everything they did. Every night, they'd gather underneath the stars, talking, just sharing every little thing. And one night, the power went out. But instead of getting upset, they just lit candles and acted like nothing ever happened. And the whole village was glowing, not from light, but from connection. And in that moment, I realized maybe they weren't missing anything at all. What I saw there was warmth, joy, and presence. It felt like a kind of richness money can't buy, the kind that's actually important. And just when I thought I understood it, I saw it again in a way I'll never forget. I realized talent doesn't need money when I saw a boy playing basketball outside a dusty school courtyard. He was about my age, dribbling a half-deflated ball and shooting on a rusted hoop. He didn't have a phone or a big crowd or any flashy sneakers, just pure love for the game. And in the race for more, we left meaning behind. We spend so much time trying to look successful, we forget to feel alive. I watched him for a while. Every move was sharp. Every shot had purpose. You could tell he wasn't playing to be seen. He was playing because something in him lit up when he did. And honestly, he was amazing. The kind of player any coach would dream of. But no one noticed him. People walked by like he wasn't even there. And I couldn't help but wonder, if he'd been wearing Jordans, would people have stopped to watch? It hit me. He was invisible. But not because he lacked talent. It was because he didn't have the so-called right things. The gear, the spotlight, or the validation. And it made me wonder how many people like him are out there, full of raw potential and heart, but overlooked. Why? Simply because they don't fit into the world's definition of success. What kind of world are we building where dreams get crushed simply because no one's paying attention? A study by 2 Yale researchers found that kids as young as 4 or 5 thought that people in bigger houses were nicer and more generous than those in smaller ones. Think about it. It shows how incredibly early we link someone's value to what they have. If that's what we learn at 4, what do we believe by 24 or even 40? As we grow up, the idea only gets stronger. We start seeing people who have less expensive things, not just as having less, but as being less. This changes who gets noticed, who gets heard, who gets respected. That's what materialism does. It quietly teaches us that worth comes from wealth. And honestly, you don't need a study to notice it. It plays out in the very little things all around us every single day. Maslow's hierarchy is a famous psychological theory that breaks down all human needs into a simple pyramid. At the bottom are survival needs. As we move up, it's about feeling valued and belonging. And at the very top, self-actualization, finding your true purpose. Interestingly, the higher we move up the pyramid, the less material needs seem to matter. It's not about what you have, it's about who you are. A lot of us get stuck chasing money or status, thinking it'll make us happy. But Maslow's theory reminds us that true happiness doesn't come from what we have, but from what we feel. So maybe the real question isn't how much do you have, but how much of it truly matters. And looking back at the boy playing basketball or the small village, I realized they were living higher up that pyramid than many people who just get stuck chasing expensive things. But if we know this, why do we keep falling for the illusion of social media? We scroll through perfectly curated lives and we start to compare. We start thinking, why doesn't my life look like that? Although we don't notice the imperfections, we're chasing an image, not a feeling, and it's leaving us anxious, insecure, and empty. I'll be honest, I like nice things too. I want to have the newest shoes, the newest tech. I think we all do. There's nothing wrong with liking nice things. It's okay to have them. It's okay to want them. Sometimes they even hold sentimental meaning. But they can't be your whole personality. They can't be the whole story. Another study by the University of Colorado found that people who spend money on experiences rather than things are not only happier, but seen as more likable. And it makes sense. Buying something new feels good for a while, but experiences last. Whether it's a moment with friends, a trip, or trying something new, those memories are lifelong. If I asked you what you bought on a random Tuesday 2 years ago, you probably wouldn't remember. But I bet you could tell me every single detail of that one trip, that one moment that meant something. And that's what makes experiences so powerful. They bring meaning. They hold connection. And when the world keeps chasing more, human dignity comes at a cost. People go to desperate lengths just to survive, where even self-worth, freedom, and safety are treated like luxuries. The rise in human trafficking, violence, and corruption isn't random. It's a byproduct of what happens when profit is constantly being put over people, and when wealth isn't measured in humanity. So what do? We change what we see. We stop letting money decide how much someone matters, because often it does. Who gets invited? Who gets respected? Who gets a second chance? Usually the person that looks successful. We have to start asking different questions. Not how much do you have, but what do you care about? Questions that see people for who they are, not what they own. We have to help others. If you've been given an opportunity, create it for someone else. If you've been heard, speak up for someone else. And if you've had more, give more. Because redefining success isn't just about what we value, it's about who we value. And when we change that, more people get seen. But more importantly, more get to belong. Because beyond the horizon lies a richer world, one filled with empathy, curiosity, creativity, and connection. One where technology and progress is used to help everybody, not just a lucky few. One where wealth is measured in humanity instead of worth. And we, especially young people, get to shape that future. One where we celebrate kindness as much as cash, purpose over possessions, meaning over money. That's the world I want to help build, and that's the world I believe we can build together. Because in the end, we weren't made to chase things. We were made to create meaning. And there's millions upon millions of people starved of just basic necessities. So if there's anything I've learned, it would be to always show gratitude, because life can change in an instant, and even being alive right now is almost statistically impossible. Thank you.